I want to thank you so much, first and foremost, for coming on the platform. It's definitely an honor. I truly appreciate the work that you've been doing almost 60 years and the work that you continue to do. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And for the viewers that may not recognize you, let them know who you are and definitely where you're from.
Oh, I'm Jane Elliot. I'm the meanest person in the world, and I'm originally from Osage, Iowa. Right now, I'm living in California because it's too snowy to live in Iowa in the wintertime.
Wow, wow. Okay, that's cool. So, Iowa, that's the Midwest.
Well, yeah, that is the Midwest. Only part of the Midwest that really counts is Iowa. We understand that, of course.
Right. I'm from Ohio. I'm from Cleveland. I'm from the Midwest.
Well, that well, you're from the Eastern Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from the center of the Midwest.
Right, right. Big shout out to Iowa. So I gotta
Thank
ask
you.
you, yeah, yeah, definitely. If you could talk a little bit about becoming a school teacher, was that something that you had a passion to become, or is that something that you kind of pursued?
Well, when we there were seven of us in the family, and there were five of us were stair steps, and the five of us were sitting four of the five were sitting around one day talking about what we were going to be when we grew up. And my father listened to it for a while, and then he said, "Well, when you grow up, you're gonna either make a dime or make a dollar. You're gonna make a dollar or make a difference. Now decide what you're gonna do and get busy at it, goddammit." And he walked away because he didn't want to listen to any more of this teenage bullshit, nonsense. I'm sorry, nonsense. So my two sisters and I became teachers because we decided to make a difference. My brothers became civil engineers. They made the dollars. We made the difference, and we're still doing it. I'm the only one left, but my older sister taught until she retired.
Wow, wow, you definitely made a difference and still making a difference today. That's amazing.
Hey, but
Um,
hey, you see this map behind me? See that map behind me? You see Greenland on this map?
mm-hmm.
That tiny little Greenland at the top of this map? This is the Peters projection map. On the Mercator projection map, Greenland hangs down right here in the middle of this map like a great big ripe plum. And that's the map. The Mercator map is the map that is used throughout the schools in the United States, practically. You have to realize that Mercator was commissioned by the Pope to draw a map that showed the spread of Christianity. So on the Mercator map, the equator is 2/3 of the way down the map. Greenland is at least six times as big as it should be. And the countries in the northern hemisphere are all larger than the countries in the southern hemisphere. That map is being used throughout the schools in the United States of America. It has to be it has to be stopped. Peters made this map that shows the countries of the world in the right size, maybe not the right shape, but the right proportion. Everybody should get a copy of this map and take it to their school and say, put these in the classrooms in this building from now on, because we want our children to see the truth instead of a strange vision of what the Pope wanted them to look like, what our countries to look like. Are you familiar with the Peters map?
Wow, wow. Thank you for sharing that. I want to ask you now, what is the significance of, distorting the actual sizes of certain areas of the map?
Well, on the Mercator map, it shows Greenland like a great big ripe plum hanging down the middle of the map. And then you read the legend at the bottom of the map, and it says South America is actually 9 times larger than Greenland. But that isn't the way it looks on the map. Children see what their visual expression that they get, the visual picture. That picture is what they will remember. It's time for them to remember this picture because it's much more realistic than the Mercator map. It's extremely important that you realize that Canada on the Mercator map stretches from hell to breakfast, not on the Peters map. It shows you the size of Canada instead of what what how big Canada would be if the map were accurate. It isn't accurate. It's totally inaccurate. People need to be aware of that, and they need to refuse to have their students exposed to the Mercator map without the Peters map being beside it.
Wow, I appreciate you sharing that because we are in the age of information. It seemed like by this time, like you say, this is something that happened when the Pope was around, the
Yes,
old
and
school days, but they're
in
still behind.
in the 1600s, the Mercator map came out in the 1600s. This map came out in, oh, probably 30 or 40 years ago. I don't remember the date. But you need at least to go to Google Peters projection map on your computer, and it will give you the address of where you can send to get this map. And they make the map in postcard size and in table mat size, placemat size, and in this size and wall size. Everybody needs to see a copy of the Peters projection map. It's an indication. It's an indication of how religion can dumb down your population if you only believe what the Pope says. Now, I have nothing against the Pope. I have nothing against Catholicism. My mother was a Catholic. My father was a Baptist. I'll live with that if you can. That was very interesting. We had the War of the Roses in our house 24/7. However, I have no problem with either of them. But we need to know that right now, the people who are driving the ugliness of Donald Trump are the evangelical Christians. And if you haven't read the book, White Evangelical Racism, get it and read it. It was written by a melanaceous woman her name is Anthea Butler. Everybody needs to get Anthea Butler's book, White Evangelical Racism, and then you'll realize what Donald Trump is trying to do to us. You need to read that book. It's absolutely essential that everybody read that book.